Organ Supply, a presentation on the topic of the current organ shortage by Hayden, Chris King, Karen Jiang, and Umayma Hasan. Organ transplant procedures are those in which one individual donates an organ, such as a kidney, liver, or even a heart, to be given to another individual whose same organ is failing. Organ donation allows one person to save up to 8 lives in dire need of functioning organs. These lives in need typically find themselves in this situation due to an accident or disease, both of which are out of the control of humankind, so organ donation provides a method of saving lives. However, there are the inevitable ethical concerns that arise regarding the transfer of an organ from one body to another. For one, the supply of organs on the market today is far less than what is necessitated by populations of waiting lists. And that brings forth questions of whether we should seek to increase organ supply, and subsequent questions regarding the allocation of organs. Should incentives be put in place for donors? Should barriers be removed from the donation process? Both or neither. Furthermore, questions about the donors themselves arise, such as the extent to which it is ethical to use live donors and whether consent to donate should be presumed on behalf of the deceased. Statistics show that 81 organ transplants occur daily in the U.S., while over 123,000 individuals wait for a transplant in Texas alone, and 22 people die every day due to a lack of viable organs for transplantation. So while the waiting list for organ donations increase, the number of individuals who die daily from lack of viable organs will continue to increase as well. This introduces organ shortage as a major issue, with every group in the organ donation process being affected, and only a handful of proposed solutions to combat the dire need for more viable organs. The organ donor is the individual who gives up their organ or organs to someone else in need of them. The perspective of donors has been studied in retrospect and found to be altogether positive regarding past donations as well as willingness to donate a second time. However, there are still risks that each donor has to prepare for prior to donating. The transplantation risks for donors include the general risks following surgery, such as infection, pain, bleeding, clotting, and other bodily complications. Other risks include repercussions in the realm of mental health, as a failed transplant can take a heavy toll on the donor. Other long-term health risks are still being investigated. The degree of control that donors have over their organs is typically low, but directed donation is a method that allows the donor to request the recipient of their organ. Typically, directed donation occurs between family members or close friends, and can therefore create a sense of obligation for people to donate if their loved one is in need of an organ. However, the opposite side of that coin is that it could also alienate any individuals in need that don't have close friends or family willing to donate for their sake. Naturally, family members find themselves being protective of their loved ones. Therefore, it's no surprise that the families of living organ donors are often hesitant to agree with the decision, especially with the potential health risks associated with transplantation. Reasons for this hesitation, however, can extend beyond pure emotion. For instance, belief can play a major role in determining a family's willingness, as it's against the beliefs of some to donate organs at all, and considered sacrilegious by others to take the organs from a deceased donor. On the note of deceased donors, the death of the loved one can be traumatic, and this trauma may lead to a family's lack of allowance for the body to be, as they view it, desecrated through organ donation. Medical professionals are the individuals in charge of carrying out the organ transplant and making sure that patients are comfortable and safe following the procedure. The team that takes part in the transplant includes but isn't limited to surgeons, nurses, pre- and post-patient caretakers, pulmonologists, anesthesiologists, dietitians, and physical therapists. The medical professionals who participate in the world of organ donation play a crucial role in helping donors make informed decisions regarding transplantation. They provide enough information to give donors an idea of the associated risks, but not so much that they hinder or bias the decision. However, bias can be found in the doctors themselves, as they have a better idea than anyone else of the utter lack of organs in the donation market today. A prominent course of action that's been proposed to address the issue of organ shortage is creating incentives that would motivate individuals to donate their organs. Whether it's incentives for living donors or incentives for the family of deceased donors, the incentivization of organ donation would provide motivation to donate. It would act as compensation for funeral costs for families of deceased donors, or compensation for the travel, lodging, medication, and possible childcare expenses for living donors. The ethical dilemma that rears its head in response to the incentivization of organ donation is that it may lead to uneven distribution of money, since richer individuals would be able to compensate to a higher degree. Furthermore, most countries only accept altruistic donations in the first place and prohibits incentives. Additionally, it poses a question of whether it'll do more harm than good, since it can be viewed as purchasing organs instead of motivation to be altruistic. Another one of the proposed solutions to address the organ shortage is allowing presumed consent. Presumed consent states that, unless the deceased has expressed a wish in life not to be an organ donor, then consent will be assumed. This would mean that the organs of deceased individuals are available for transplantation once they pass, unless openly expressed. The major reason that this would provide such a positive change is that it would see a drastic increase in availability of organs to be donated, and therefore a drastic increase in lives saved. However, the ethical dilemmas that come up include the issue that some may see it as a desecration of religion or belief, regardless of the deceased's request in life. It also raises the questions of whether presumed consent will lead to lower quality care towards the end of one's life in order to increase organ supply, and if not saying no really equates to saying yes.